Henry McClure live. Well, it's been a long day. a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay. Today's been interesting. And I'll tell you, the best phone call came from a new friend that said, man, you got to shut up and explain yourself. You know, you're talking to a guy that's been out of town for a while, and it was good for me to just have a call with a guy that was genuinely interested and wants to learn about what's going on and take a different approach to understanding Henry McClure. What I want you guys to understand is I've always loved building stuff. And I was a paint contractor. That's how I paid for my college. I painted houses through high school, and I understand contracting. When I first went to work for the mall business, there you can see my lovely face. When I first went to work in the mall business, I worked in the management for old Hawkeye and Henry Nathan Sims. And Henry is the guy that used to build office buildings in New York. He would go, Rich Cohen, Mace's partner in Mace Rich, built office buildings, and Henry Nathan would go to work with $5,000 in his pocket and $100 bills, and try to get home with as much as he could. But 100 to this guy to get this delivery. Greasing the wheels, pay off the cops to so the truck could unload. Just in the construction business, there's a lot of cash that turns hands. And there's a lot of, just a lot of money changes hands at all levels, okay? But tonight, at the city council meeting, when Braxton Copley was talking about Topeka being a difficult place to develop, hears it all the time, I really think about what he did to Blake and Sterling Scott on the boulevard to bring in Chick-fil-A and Whataburger. It was mean. And if I ever can figure out that he did it just to retaliate against me. But think about this for a second. He literally added $1.5 million of unnecessary improvements to the boulevard that wasn't a part of the original deal. And it's a crime. This dude, he's a lawyer at best. He's a lawyer at best, and that ain't saying much, because when he was coming up through the city as the lawyers, he never really got to be the head honcho. But what I worry about is Benish, the engineers. They've made about $3.6 million in consulting fees because we can't hire an engineer? Well, all we got to do, hey, Braxton, all we had to do is pay an engineer what you make, and he could actually do something and produce something. Has knowledge, working knowledge of engineering. Braxton is probably the biggest problem in our city. The bureaucratic guy like that is probably a bigger problem than just people that don't know what they're doing. Others. I do want to, I just couldn't believe it. Sylvia Ortiz tonight is more worried about this program, the Dreams program, 1, 2, and 3, and who voted on it and who got what. She's more worried about that than $9.5 million in sales tax money just given to Cody Foster. And now here's the thing about it. The city manager, Robert Perez, Kevin Cook, the mayor, Mike Padilla, and Rich Eckert are all in that meeting. So these are employees and elected officials, and these guys are also trying not to, I should ask them, hey, who in the board of directors of Go Topeka, who voted to give Cody Foster this money? And we got Sylvia over here worrying about the Dreams program. And we got people that don't have any idea what it's like to put up capital, their own capital, deciding the future of our city. And they're the people out buying hotels, giving Cody Foster money. And so I'm going to tell you the difference between Cody Foster and Klossman is Klossman put up all the cash for Wheatfield. And I asked for some of the reports through Cora, and the city couldn't find them. I asked Jennifer Stork and Jim Klossman for them directly and got them. And you've got to look at the reports to make sure the project is successful. And the reporting on those TIF agreements, it's important to check up on what's going on, because that's the job. That's your job. And I've just been thinking of the bloated salaries of our city manager and two assistant guys, and one of them being Braxton. Look, we can do away. I don't want Braxton anywhere near any development after what he did to the Scott brothers. And I'm really nervous about a guy that lives over here in the Ramada Inn and has a house in Florida. It doesn't pass the smell test. Seriously. The AT&T building and Cody Foster and not getting the information of the board of directors who vote on it, that doesn't pass the smell test, and it sure as hell, it's got to be against the law. And if it isn't against the law, well, that's bullshit. Oh, man. But it's not moral. $125 million has been controlled by Go Topeka, and the board of directors have decided where the money's going to go. And then on top of that, they've never ever gone to Jeddah and been turned down. The board of Topeka, the board of Go Topeka, runs the city as far as all the economic development goes. So look, if the chamber itself wants to fund Go Topeka, and we can take the $5 million, look, we can either give it back to the public or we'll just put it in the roads. But it shouldn't go, we shouldn't do it the way we're doing it now, because it's not growing the population and it's not lowering the tax base. So look, let's just look at it at arm's length. You haven't performed. You're not performing. And now you're acting corruptly. You're just giving money to your board members. And I mean, if we really, and I'm going to do it. I got nothing else to do. Seems like it. But I'm serious. We're going to do a deep dive into all of the Go Topeka gifts. The Wolf's Camera, think about that. You spent $1 million in rent for a failed project. You just spent $3 million in a 10-year lease to fund Go Topeka to be in business. It's just really, to me, it looks like money laundering of your sales tax dollars. It's corrupt. It's wrong. At least that's my opinion. But I really think that we've just, I think we're just really scratching the, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg for really everything that's wrong and where it is wrong. And look, if you want to know something, pick up the phone and call me. You know, this Alexander dude. Hey, look, I'm not going to answer long answers or any little answers. I don't have time to answer all this stuff on Facebook. I'd be delighted to do it if I got time, but just call me. I'm really not that hard to get a hold of. You know, when you make a living by the phone, you answer calls. And I learned a long time ago, the calls that you don't want to take, you take those first. Get them out of the way. You know, Karen Hiller tonight has a voice, and she's good with the numbers. I just don't think Will's ready to be in District 1 a city council person. But I'll tell you, they all need to be replaced. Except, hang on, I think there's hope for Banks the way he voted on Maverick. This is my Arwen Becker hat. She's the lady that's big in keeping men out of women's sports. Well, I'm fading a little bit. But I'll tell you one thing I can do. I can teach you all to be developers. I can teach you how to do it. And if we have a uniform development agreement, I hate to say it this way, but quit your bitching about developers. Why don't you try to just be one yourself? If I can create a uniform development agreement, you can find out for yourself what it's like to come up with capital, borrow money, risk it, and you can execute your own ideas on a even playing field, the way I want to do things. Look, if we do it my way, where we're spreading, I need 100 developers out there right now. I need 100 developers out there right now, because the more property we get paying taxes, we're going to lower the property taxes around this joint. We're doing it all wrong. We're doing it all wrong. Man, I was really surprised at Brett Kale. And, he made a good point tonight about the complete streets. He goes, look, let's just fix the streets. I mean, come down to Adams Street here at 5th Street, go to 8th, and look at this road. When I was talking to the police chief, the fire chief, oh man, I owe him one, because I actually think he was insulted that I thought he was the police chief. Oh man, but the fire chief, and I'm telling you, I was talking to the guys at the fire department about Adams and how terrible it is. We got bricks just exposed. I'd go down there. Now, look, the Citizens Commission is all about giving you guys the voice. And I'm going to tell you again a little bit about Project Otis. Remember in Mayberry, Otis used to check himself into jail? Well, one of the big things everybody wants to know, it's really hard to talk about violence, but let's talk about homelessness. Let's talk about drug addiction. Let's talk about mental health. And I think they're all related. So I did a little research, and 30 to 40% of homeless people are alcoholics. Okay, so what I want to do in Project Otis is to raise the tax on liquor sales significantly and put it on the ballot. I want to put it on the ballot because, look, too much stuff in the city and the county have been not really the will of the people. If you ask people, did you really think economic development was giving Cody Foster $9.5 million? I think they'd all say no. And then if I said, well, in spite of that, what do you think of the fact that Go Topeka doesn't want to tell me how the board of directors voted on that? Do you think that would fly? But I think if we took Project Otis and got it on the ballot and just let the people decide. We got to start letting the people decide how we're going to live. That's what's going to make being mayor easy. Well, what do you want? Let's get on it. We're going to have to get more money from the private sector. Look at all these foundations. We shouldn't be giving any money, any economic development to a company that's got a foundation. Stop it. Close the hotel in the morning. Close the hotel, put all the information out there to the market, and let's get a real offer. And I really hope that Braxton just goes down to Florida and stays. And I haven't even been able to get to the water department yet. I've got stuff on my desk of stuff that we really need to look into. But I've had a day. Yeah, one of my research people, one of the research team, I just want them to know I really appreciate them because they understand what I'm going through as far as the pressure. It was fun being on the red couch. I think Melissa's a really nice lady. I'm looking forward to the election. I'm going to ask you to vote for me for mayor. But I'm going to, hey, if I get in there, you're going to have to help me. Let's get the Citizens Commission going. And tell 20 people. If you've been watching my stuff, sometimes I can't figure out what he's saying. But it's all coming out. At least I'm willing. I am willing to stand up to the establishment. Well, I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Glass House, not the Glass House Studio. Like my artwork there? Anyway, I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for your time.